any game where I watch it, and at some point I go, "That's gotta hurt." I think that was something in Ratchet. Like Ratchet Deadlock was definitely one of the weakest of the original Ratchet and Clank games. But one of the best things that it had was these fucking characters who talked about goddamn everything. And one of the best lines in that game is, "I don't care what galaxy you're from. That's gotta hurt."
Yes. You know what? I don't care what anybody says. I really like Deadlock a lot. I thought it was a great game, and I thought that like even though people had like complaints and stuff, like just kind of like had to accept the fact that Ratchet was doing a different thing, and it was perfectly fine. You know?
Ratchet Deadlock?
Yeah.
Ratchet Deadlock was the first Ratchet and Clank game I played, so I played that and I was like, oh, I'm cool with this. I don't mind at all, you know? I was okay with it.
Yeah, it was really good. It wasn't about like exploring and shit anymore, but like all the shit that they did keep was like made like a million times better.
Yeah, and like it took a lot of the new shooting focus from Ratchet and Clank 3 and just
and it went like overdrive with it and made it like refined it, you know?
Yeah,
I actually did play Deadlocked online a couple times.
Deadlocked is like this short form shooter. You know, it's like a really I think it's only 6 hours long. It's really short, and I think the only thing about it was that all I remember about it going was just like, okay, we have reached the point where these games stop being better than each other. Because I really liked Ratchet Deadlock, but I didn't think it was better than Up Your Arsenal, which was like kind of a masterpiece.
Here's the thing, Ratchet and Clank Up Your Arsenal is like the older Unreal games. And Ratchet Deadlocked is Unreal Tournament. That's really like the best way that I can compare it is with the Unreal games, because they really have a like similar progression. Like the Unreal games were about like, you know, exploring and like figuring out where you're going while having all the horror and shit going on. And then Unreal Tournament happened and it was like, hey, multiplayer, get in on this shit. The campaign, it's the multiplayer. And that's pretty much what Ratchet Deadlocked is. The campaign is the multiplayer and it's awesome. I played the multiplayer online a couple times. It was pretty fun. It had some kinks to work out, and I was hoping that when they brought the series into like PS3 and stuff, they'd bring back the online and like refine it. But that never happened, which is unfortunate. But you know, whatever.
Yeah, they kind of backpedaled.
It sucks, but I guess people were just that mad about Ratchet Deadlock. They were just like, all right, no more multiplayer ever. The local multiplayer for Up Your Arsenal was really good too. I played that with my fucking cousins a lot.
When it comes to understanding of a short-form shooter of a game with like shooter elements that aren't actually the main part of it, which I think is actually kind of interesting, because usually the example you go to something like an open world game like GTA or something, which I'm not really interested in, but Jak 2 and Jak 3, which also have shooting in it, but it's really good. It's really cool shooting actually. I'm really into it. I want to know
Jak 3, you see, that's actually, it's kind of like the PS2 era is like a weird period of games history where it's just like games that I really like, but I don't even talk about that much.
Here's
I feel like that describes this PlayStation lineup a lot, really. Like, there's so many games where I'm just like, the PlayStation and the PlayStation 2 had, like, my absolute favorite, like, catalogs, but I could really only tell you, like, 4 games that really stuck out to me. But then there are those other games where, like, someone will bring it up and I'll be like, oh, that was the shit! Why couldn't I remember that?
Jak 3 was the shit.
Yeah, you know what I'm gonna say about that as a critic, especially someone who tends to play a lot of like a bunch of favorite games that just constantly pile up on his two play list, like that's the best for me. Which is that I get a bunch of games that are constantly like has huge variety that I can just go, oh, look at that game, look what it's doing. I'm gonna remember this if I talk about it later. Right, which is like an art script, which is actually like an art script thing, which is just like, oh, look at this game, look at how it kind of does the same thing as this early game before, and I can name drop stuff, which is always really fun and cool to do. I think the PS2 age, I don't know if it sounds kind of melodramatic to sort of know it, but I'm gonna sort of say that claim the PS2 age is sort of like the silver age. If we say that Super Nintendo was a golden age, we can say that PS2 was like a silver age.
Honestly, I wouldn't even like compare them in that way. I feel like the SNES shift and like the PlayStation 2 shift, and I guess kind of nowadays the indie shift can be compared to it, where it's just like the new stuff just comes in. It's just like so much like different and better than like what's already being provided. That it's like a cultural thing, I guess you could say. Like we have when it comes to like things that you remember, it's always like those specific scenes. But like in a couple years, I don't think I'm gonna remember anything about the PS3, you know, or the 360. No. It's gonna be one of those things like, yeah, it existed. It made an impact with like graphics and stuff and like online play. But it seems like it brought a lot more headaches than it brought new stuff. So this generation's gonna be almost entirely defined by the headaches that we got.
Yeah, I'm not really sure if we're ever gonna get something like a PS2 thing again.
I think that we will. I don't think it will be console based.
You don't think it'll be console based?
I think that like what the indie scene is doing right now is mirroring a lot of that, that cultural shift idea particularly, and like a lot of stuff that's coming out of indie reminds me of a lot of stuff that was coming out in those golden ages, you know. Although I think there's like a point where it's like that kind of shift is going to come to an end, and the shift is going to go towards other indies that are doing other things, you know.
Yeah.
Like we've already gone through the shift that was happening before, where people are talking about the indie bubble and how it's gonna burst and whatnot. It's like, no, it's not an indie bubble. It's a cultural shift. It's gonna happen again, and it's gonna happen until everyone's dead, because that's how culture works.
It's just I just want to say that the indie bubble is such a bloated fucking thing. Like it's so packed with baggage. I mean, like. On the one, I feel like there's a lot of good pieces written on it that I haven't read yet that I need to go read. I really do. But I mean,
I haven't found any good pieces written about it.
Well, I mean, I'll send it to you. I mean, like supposedly they're good. I haven't read them yet, but there are developers who've written about it. We're trying to say like, I remember this one that's somebody called "There Is No Indie Bubble." But I mean, for one, I'm skeptical. I'm skeptical for a few reasons. One of the reasons I'm skeptical is because I'm always skeptical of, you know, this is something that TJ talks about a lot, right? Which is that indie also like sort of reifies particular kinds of power structures between between visibility, between various different kinds of capital coming together. And it's this understanding that who's the one who's propping up this idea of an indie bubble particularly, right? If you read like a joystick piece on you know John Blow saying there's too many games around, like of course he's saying there's too many games. Jonathan Blow. Yeah. He's made a whole career off like a few games. Of course, he's gonna say. So it's the understanding of inflation is always something that you know that I get kind of skeptical about. It's like, are people just kind of, is it people who've made a lot of money in this particular marketplace just don't want competition? In a sense,
it always feels like the people that are talking about the indie bubble are always the old people, you know, like the people that have been in indie for like at least a decade are always the ones that are talking about how the indie bubble is gonna burst. I'm just like, maybe your bubble is gonna burst, but there's a lot of different things that are going on in the scene. Like I wouldn't, like when they're talking about the indie bubble, I wouldn't even consider like the stuff that's been coming out nowadays as part of that indie bubble. I would consider the stuff that's being shat out by people and the shit that's getting on greenlight all the time as the shit that's gonna pop in this so-called indie bubble. But that, like the way people are talking about like how indie as a whole is just gonna fall apart, that's bullshit, and you know it, because we got like so much more talent that's like getting ready to like take over the reins anyways, which is why all these old motherfuckers are freaking out, because they know they're about to be replaced. That's exactly what it is, and you know it. They know they're about to be replaced by this new breed, in quotes of course, like the biggest quotes in the world of indie, and they're fucking terrified and they don't want it to happen.
Yeah, so it's definitely this
real quick.
Yep.
But Muteki, if by John Blow was the real indie bubble, you mean he's a thing full of air that has no substance inside it, then yes, you're completely correct.
Oh man, this Vanquish stream is getting extreme. Oh wait, never mind. This Vanquish stream was extreme the moment it started, because it's fucking Vanquish.
I need to find some kind of nuclear kind of like, you know, I need something appropriate here, but I'll just leave it to dissipate.
I feel bad for you, Zalani, because you're really not given to extreme statements.
It's just like, I mean, man. I used to get really upset a lot about how like everyone keeps talking to the same people in NDC, and it was really and I don't know how much that's changed lately, to be honest.
I couldn't tell you, because in all honesty, I've kind of like temporarily vanished for the time being, you know. Like all the loud talking and shit that I used to do, I don't do so much anymore, because I'm too busy going, oh shit, I'm working on like 8 different projects now, and I gotta get all this shit out.
And it's totally cool, and it's totally legit.
It's just weird, because like for the last, I may as well just go ahead and say it, for the last like 8 months or so, I basically have not looked at my timeline at all. Mostly because it's been like stressing me out a lot, and just like going through like all the motions, like unfollowing all the stressful shit that I've been seeing is just like not worth it. So I'm just like, I'll just not look at it for the time being. And I just haven't been doing that. But like every once in a while, I'll like come back to it and I'll look at like what's going on, and I'm just like, I don't know what's going on anymore. Like, I don't know anything. I don't know what the latest game is. I don't know what the latest
drama.
All I know is that I'm still not reading any fucking Polygon articles. That's it. That's all I know. Everything
we're
else is
just
weird.
firing all of the cannons, man. But I mean,
Hey, listen.
yeah,
I think people should already know how I feel about Polygon and Vanquish. All right.
So I mean, what I will say is that Twitter also Twitter is super stressful, and I don't I don't engage with it the same way that I used to.
I fucking hate like talking about a bunch of shit on my Twitter now. It's just not fun.
Yeah. It's just and sometimes Twitter gets a bit. But I mean, one of the things is that I guess I have taken like a bit more of a casual approach to Twitter. What I used to do, and I'm going to say this because I'm pretty sure there are people in the stream who do too, to be honest. But I mean, what I'm going to say is, okay. So what I'm going to say is that I used to wake up and just check Twitter, and that was like the first thing I used to do.
Yeah.
So the first thing I just get up from the morning and just check Twitter, but I don't do that anymore. I get up, I eat like breakfast, I like read, I look at the sky, and then maybe I'll try Twitter. And I feel like it's improved my mood actually.
Yeah, like the more time that I've been spending away from Twitter, like the better I've been feeling like about myself. It's really interesting in fact that it's like completely obvious and makes total sense.
Yeah, so I think it's this thing where I think it is pretty beneficial to always take kind of like a bit more of a casual and a little bit more, just a little bit more of a distance from Twitter. That's just my opinion. I mean, Twitter is cool, it's fine, but like I feel like also just as like from a standpoint of a critic, I feel like I'm trying to read a lot more.
Yeah.
I've been trying to read like at least just as much, or maybe sometimes even more than I tweet. And I was on a stream with Austin once, and he's like, "Man, Zlani, like you haven't written a long time." And I'm like, "Oh fuck!" So like I'm trying to write more too. I want to do that. I haven't written them.
Yeah, I haven't released a new album or a new game in like 3 months, so I'm kind of like, shit. What am I gonna do now? I can't soar on Joy Lancer money forever when I'm not making money. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. So, but right now, but I'm working on a piece right now, and I think it's really, I think it's getting really good. So I'm almost done. Can't wait to finish that.
I still have that multi-piece based off my Indie Katie's talk that I need to finish. Which, in all honesty, I feel like at this point I might just not finish because so many other people have kind of got to the ball before I did. Like they kind of said all I needed to say, but better. And now that I've like been paying so little attention to everything, I feel like I'm just kind of off the mark now. You know? I feel like I need to spend like a month just getting like as pissed off as possible at everything that happened, so I can get back into top form.
I want to say this.
Condition yourself.
But I'm gonna say before you go, Austin, I want to note something, and this might sound like a bad like dissing Twitter thing. I just want to say that I think if someone does write about games as a thing, I think it's I know I don't want this to come off like somewhat condescending, but like it's really important to read. I know that sounds like a real like condescending asshole thing to say, but I mean like it's really important to read other criticisms that aren't games, to read some kind of like other kinds of criticism, to read fiction or the other fictions. You know what I mean? Like I have a book full of plays. I'm trying to go through that. You know what I mean? Like,
it's actually kind of it's interesting that you mentioned that. Like, cause I was thinking about that JP LeBreton tweet earlier where he was talking about I mean, not JP LeBreton. I think it was either JP LeBreton or Ian Bogost who were talking about.
It was Ian Bogost.
Yeah, it was Ian Bogost. He was like, get out of like your normal spaces and go into some other spaces. And for like the last couple months or so, I've just been getting a lot closer to comics folks than I have been games folks. So I've been feeling like an intersection between video games and comics. Like my friends Greg, Rory, and Nero were all comic artists, and they're all working with me on one of my new games. And
nice.
I'm like I'm just trying to get like. I'm trying to do this thing where I want games and like other universes to like collide more and do more of those kinds of collaborations, you know? Like instead of just like games people and games artists working on games, I want to have like what I'm doing right now with my comics artists helping me work on games while infusing that comics knowledge into it. And like seeing like comics and games, like the two are really similar in like a lot of aspects, like whether it be community or making comics or anything like that. That and making games are like really close together, to the point where it makes me wonder why haven't comics and games collided way more often?
I think it's a culture of games that's a little insular and doesn't really try to look outside of itself a lot.
Well, so does comics, so it's perfect.
I'm gonna make some statements that might be generalizations. I'm gonna make that disclaimer, but I mean, like when it comes to games writing, which is pretty much my mostly domain for the most part, like it's just like especially in mainstream media, just like you could tell people don't like it. Like, you know what I mean? Like, and we made this point before, this understanding of like you need to read some literature, man. Like, look at some art or something. Look at a painting.
That's where we come in.
It's understanding of being just a little bit more well-read to things, and I think that's pretty much why, especially in large criticism, where like the expectations are usually so low. Why, you know, when Austin talks about the last stuff, when Eric Swain talks about the last stuff and said there's not much here, right? But then you get people saying this is like the greatest story like we've ever seen. It's because this is all they look at. You know what I mean?
Well, I mean, let's be real. Comics has the exact same fucking problem.
Yeah, probably. I have no idea.
Like straight up, comics and games have like so many similar problems. It's unreal.
So I mean, yeah, actually, you know, I've actually people actually said that before. You're not the first one to say that. Pretty similar. But I mean, like, I guess that's kind of thing. So when it comes to Twitter, like, it's usually my thing of like, I'm gonna try to read more and do other and like read more, write more, and not do the Twitter thing as much. And I think that's actually made me like a little bit more like a little bit better at what I do and how I approach things. To be honest,
I've always been really big into like focusing a lot on music, even though it's not what I do professionally. Just because like, especially because like when it came to like comments from people like Liz Ryerson, Ella Girl on Twitter, who were talking about like comparing like music and games and like how similar they really are, and like I feel like it kind of makes sense, you know, that I make games and I write music when the two are like so similar, you know. It's stuff that really like interests me, and I like seeing those kinds of parallels between games and other forms of art.
It's definitely cool to talk to me. I want to know some comments because there are important comments here that I actually want to address. One of them says, "Right now, Twitter is my hub for contact with friends, so it's kind of necessary in my social life right now."
Yeah, exactly.
Another one says, "I'd like to spend more time off Twitter, but like I don't live anywhere near my friends, so that's like the majority of my."
By the way, here's selling point number 3.
What? Oh god. Okay. Before I say, I'm gonna say it's the same thing for me. I'm not even noting that. Like, I'm not even saying that you shouldn't be on Twitter ever. Like, it's mostly the same thing for me. Everyone I talk to right now is on Twitter. I don't live near any of these people right now, right? And a lot of people who I'm actually good friends are also on Twitter. So I do understand there's like a weird conflict between like sometimes Twitter can get kind of weird and kind of uncomfortable, but this is also where like a lot of important people are to me, like some close friends are as well. So I get that there's that weird thing.
See, for me, I kind of lucked out when I moved to Seattle because a bunch of my friends also moved to Seattle at the same time. So now it's like, hey, I have a reason to not be on Twitter right now, and that's to hang out with my Twitter friends who I know in person.
I definitely I don't really have that much in Montreal. Like I know a few people, but like it's not that much, to be honest.
Yeah, but like for me, like even when it comes to
his friends.
I feel like when it comes to like Twitter, like a lot of it is you really have to be really good at filtering your Twitter like at all times, and it probably helps if you have a private account too.
Yeah. Yeah.
Which is basically why I have mine. Cause sometimes I just want to be like, I don't want any of this right now.
Maybe I should do that. I don't have a private account.
It's awesome. I love it. I spend, in all honesty, like whenever I'm on Twitter now, I'm like always on my private because I just don't give a shit. It's just so much better because I can tweet whatever I want. I don't have to worry about some dumbass rando telling me that I'm wrong for smoking weed or whatever.
Oh, cool, I got an A on that.
You got an A on what?
Combat and Metal Gear Rising.
Oh, nice. Legit.
Oh god, there was so much of that I wanted to engage with. So first of all, I kind of am sympathetic to the, you know, this is where I engage with a lot of people. Most of my engagement with Games Crit, it comes from Twitter, so it's hard to avoid it. I still completely understand what you're saying.
There are certain ways that you can avoid it, is the thing. You have to be strategic.
Right.
You have to know when to bow out, and that's something that I've definitely been beating into my head over the last couple months.
Right, yeah. But the main thing for me, I realized, is I would really like it if critics were a little more open. I'm really not talking about anyone in specific here. I think it's slightly a cultural thing, but like I think if nothing else, there could be other forms of social media which would be more, better for long form engagement that we could be using.
Well, I mean, I know that Chris Lakeman, she's always kind of like pushing up what's called like one of those. I don't remember what it's called. It's like a forum thing somewhere. but the thing is that and this happens whenever Twitter makes a really bad decision, and everyone's just like, oh my god, and everyone starts thinking about alternatives. Everyone starts talking about alternatives suddenly, right?
Yeah.
But then when things get resolved, everyone just goes back to Twitter.
It's the exact same thing with fucking Skype, which is funny because we're using it right now and it's a piece of shit. But we're using it because we don't have an alternative, and because nobody. And also, another problem with alternatives is that when it comes to alternatives, you have to also encourage all those other people that you like to switch. And 90% of the time, they're not going to do it.
So it's just the idea that's inconvenient, you know what I mean? So it's usually like things aren't perfect, but you usually just do it because it's convenient and it's easy. And you're right that it's culture. You're right that it's like a way that we're kind of thinking things. Who are these people?
It's like these are so much better, and we could totally switch, but we're just not going to do it because no one else is.
Yeah, and it's like Twitter's easy. It's already on my bookmark and all. You know what I mean? Like you don't want to have to set up.
I have an app for it. Whatever, you know.
Yeah.
So the thing about it is, well, if nothing else, because I mean, it's also like if I want to do work with other critics, for example,
that's probably going to be on Twitter.
Yes, I'd say Twitter's not an option. I mean, like if you like, I'm just going to say this outright. If anybody, you know, if anybody who wants to work with me professionally is watching this stream right now, I'm sure you all love me.
Hey, you never know. It is my stream after all.
I'd say, like, if you wanna work with me, I gotta get you on Skype, I gotta get you on Facebook, or at least we gotta get some fucking email going, because there's no fucking way we're conducting our entire thing through like Twitter direct.
No, of course not. It's always like Twitter to email, right? Like that's
yeah, it's Twitter to DM to email.
Is a third selling point coming? You said before. The third selling point.
The third selling point already passed. It was when I was running across a bunch of ships and shit, and then jumping over explosions, and then I grabbed a robot by its neck and threw it off the ship.
That was pretty amazing, yeah.
Yeah, and then I jacked its ship and I crashed into another robot. So actually, that was selling point number 4.
So that was the main thing. The other thing being that I guess now might be a good time to bring up. I started another blog, which I'm trying to find a better name for, but it's right now it's called heavymetalpoets.tumblr.com.
I heard about that.
What?
Yeah, I heard about that. Someone was like tweeting at you about it, and you like retweeted them or something.
Alan Williamson and a guy named Oscar Strick, I think.
Yep.
Have both tweeted about it because they're both great. And oh yeah, he and I are going to be working together. Fuck. Sorry, I'm trying to land this slash. He and I, Oscar and I, are going to be working together on an analysis of the lyrics from the In Flames album Oracle.
Wow.
Yeah, because it's a concept album and it's like really dense with its terminology, and we're gonna try and analyze it and figure it out. I think it's like a lot of its meanings are kind of apparent, but there's lots of it that's kind of still like really subtextual. In Flames lyrics are really abstract. That's a lot of the things I wanted to talk about. Is I started realizing that a lot of these there are a lot of these bands I'd been listening to and I wasn't really paying attention to their lyrics, and at least a few of them I started like reading the lyric shades and going, huh, there's like stuff of substance here. You know, like I might want to actually like read this. You know, like and try and put it together. So yeah, I'm working on that. Yes, okay.
I want to know something quick about Bioshock Infinite. One of them is that like it has some really like shiny guns. I just want to note that particularly.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah, it has some really nice detail. You know, some good graphics here. Really
it's got some good graphics. It's got some good gameplays. You know, it's got some good sounds. It's got some good musicals. It's got some good online functionality. It's got everything you want. And that's why this game's a 10 out of 10.
Yeah, but it has all the things around it.
It has all the blast process. Do we still make jokes about blast processing in 2014?
Fuck yeah, we do.
Okay, good. It still has all the blast processing. It has all the It has all the CPUs. It's got all the anti-aliasing. It's great. It's got the mode 7. It's got everything you could ever possibly want in a video game.
Yeah. There is a term that doesn't use much often, maybe because I like to think, because I try to be positive about things. I like to think because we don't need the term anymore. But it used to be a term called checkbox writing, right?
Yeah.
Which used to be like a sort of diatribe on reviews, right? Which reviews just do checkbox things, but just like it has this, it has that, it has everything I expected, and that's kind of it. I mean, reviews are much better than they were before. I'll say at least that much. I searched
better. I will honestly say, like, even from places like IGN, the writing has actually gotten like a surprising amount better.
Yeah. So you know, they're not as cringy as before. You know, so I think it was okay.
So hey, remember when I fought those giant robots in Act 1-3? I'm gonna fight 2 of them now.
Oh.
You want to pay attention to this whole fight because I promise you, this entire fight is just selling point after selling point. Like this is one of those moments where I'm just like, this is Vanquish. Like this is the game. Two giant robots.
He's doing a circle slide around.
Yeah. You're like hella behind, but you're just behind enough to know like just how important this game is. Because when you actually do see it, you'll be like, holy crap, all of it. Oh, if I didn't just get shot right there, which I will, which you'll get caught up with. Got blasted right in the chest.
What was I gonna pull? I was trying to find stuff to say about all the, you know, not being on Twitter and stuff like that.
I think that's pretty much like about like as deep
it's kind of selfish,
though, you know. It's like Twitter's really good for a lot of things, and it's really fucking terrible for a lot of things. And it's just you know.
And the key to it is not trying to go into the predisposition that Twitter has a lot of people and has all the big news. Therefore, I always need to pay attention to it, and I always need to be there.
Yeah.
Which I don't want to judge anyone's situation. I know that everyone has like their own context around things, but it's understanding that I don't have to, like this understanding that if you don't have to be there, you don't have to be there in a sense, right? It's understanding like I can do something else and not cache the latest thing all the time.
Yeah, that's
understanding
why I
of our
haven't.
relationship between
That's
social
why
media.
I haven't deactivated my Facebook, but I just don't like use it nowadays.
Yeah.
So it's like if I ever need to get in contact with those kinds of people, I can do it. I don't need to be subjected to the rest of the bullshit, you know. But yeah, we got 2 Argus bots. One of them is in Spider Mode, and the other's not. That's like the whole gimmick. It's actually pretty fucking difficult. But this is all just filler text for the selling point moment that's coming up in a couple moments, which is very good, as all selling moments in this game are. There's so many of them. You can't stop with the selling.
Oh shit! Hey.
Look, it just doesn't stop. It's just like, hey, do you like this game? Do you want more shit to happen? Here comes more shit. Do you want to do more? Do you want to spin around on a giant robot and drill through its entire body? Yes, you do, because this is fucking Vanquish.
Vanquish. Oh my god, this game is so good.
I'm very. You're going to hear my delayed reaction. Oh god.
It's like the good thing is that it's extra delayed, so I can just use it as like whatever Zolani's reaction is. Like, yeah, that's during the second part of this fight. Yeah, a giant missile just came towards me. That's Zolani's reaction. And I love this fucking game so much. Can you tell? Can you tell that I love this game? This game is the jam. It's so good.
I like we kicks the box and the gun just jumps.
So this has these cutscenes of like super epic things happening, but nobody's ever going to complain that like, why can't I do these epic things in the game? Why did they have to take control from me?
By the way, here comes selling point number fucking 1,000.
What? Already?
Oh yeah, already. We got 2 of them in the same goddamn boss fight.
Oh my god. Up the robot. He's punching the robot in the Oh my god. Yes, that was amazing.
Just rock him, sock and roll about that guy.
Damn straight.
Okay, I swear to God, if he's if Robot in the Face isn't the world's most popular Vine by noon tomorrow, y'all have failed.
the most popular Vine of this 3-year-old game. Like, y'all really missed the boat on this one, I'm just saying.
The robot in the
You just write a click upworthy on the greatest game ever made, Vanquish.
And the best part is that the boss fight isn't even done. There's still, I still got the core to deal with.
I'm just gonna give this game play-by-play commentary, I think, and just it's gonna be amazing. Oh my god, he's firing all these bullets and shit.
Wait until I actually do the full-blown Let's Play of this game coming in 2015.
Nice, yeah.
Actually, I might do it sooner. I haven't decided yet. I actually do want to do like a Let's Play of it because I also want to do a Let's Play as Only Enders 2. Now that my PS3 is operating again. Plus, like, since all my save data is gone, what better to do a full playthrough of a game fresh?
Yep.
I had to replace my entire hard drive, which sucks, but I mean, like, you know, I'm not complaining. See, luckily, I'm one of those people who buys games that he likes, so when he loses all his save data, it's like, oh no, now I have to play this game that I like again.
Yep. I mean, it's like if you woke me up one morning and like, Austin, we lost all of your FF9 save data, and I'd be like, oh God, what will I do?
Oh no, I lost all my Metal Gear Rising data on my PS3, even though I already have it all on PC. I guess I have to play it on PS3 again, even though I already 100%ed it on PC, except for Revenge's difficulty.
Y'all nerds.
I had the same only for Sonic Adventure 2. Like Sonic Adventure 2.
Well, the main difference here being that Sonic Adventure 2 is playable in a single afternoon, probably.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty short.
Yeah,
To be fair, you can do that in Metal Gear Rising as well if you just skip all the cutscenes.
I've been thinking about game length a lot recently, and I've been thinking recently how much I love short games. And that's weird because JRPGs are like 50% of what I talk about at least. And
dude, short games are the shit. Short games are like so underrated, and it pisses me off because I feel like I have to make a game a certain length when I make it. But like some games are just perfectly length. Like they can't be long because if they were long, then they'd be a chore.
Well, that's the thing is, and it's like I'm thinking about, you know, like this is like when you and granted, especially this is like the second playthrough effect where it's like you know what to do. Like think about it's like if I want to play Metroid Prime right now, which I actually don't have the game unfortunately, but if I wanted to play Metroid Prime, I could do the whole thing in like 7 hours, you know. Or like if I wanted to play Ico, I could play that whole thing in less than 4. You know, so you know I could you know if I woke up at 9 o'clock and I didn't have anything to do that morning, I could play the whole game before noon. You know?
Yeah. Honestly, like in my experience with Metal Gear Rising, and I do have a lot of experience because I obsessively played that game both times that it launched, is that you can beat Metal Gear Rising in an afternoon if you skip the cutscenes, and if you want to go for like all the way, you can beat Metal Gear Rising like 3 times in the same day, which I did. I'm not even kidding. When that game came out on PS3, I beat it 3 times, and when it came out on PC, I played it for 21 hours straight.
Turn down for what?
What the fuck is turning down? I don't even know what that is.
For what?
I live and breathe ridiculous action video games. I'm sorry. This is your savior of indie games, is a man who likes video games where spines are eaten and robots are punched. If you wanted something deeper than that, I'm sorry, you gotta go somewhere else.
This is your savior.
TJ is the Moses of indie games.
I swear to God, someday I'm going to put a sedative in TJ's drink or something, and I'm just going to be like, now TJ, you're going to make the same game, except you're going to let me write the script.
The script is gonna be really sad. It's gonna be very sad.
The script is gonna be really sad, but you're gonna be sliding on your ass and like jumping over cliffs. And it'll be symbolism.
Awesome.
And then it's just like there'll just be some day where it's just like, oh my God, TJ Thomas made like the best video game ever. It plays so well, and the writing is so good. And they'll be like, but wait a minute, why hasn't he made any money from it? I'll be sitting on a Castlevania throne,
sitting on like damaged copies of Lords of Shadow 2 that have been like compressed into a comfortable chair.
I will just be like rolling in hills of money.
The critics are just like, wow, this is so fun. The combo system is great, and dashing feels awesome, but it always makes me feel so sad.
It's like this game excites me, and then I stop playing it, and then everything else kind of hits me, and I just get really depressed.
10 out of 10. 10 male tears.
10 out of 10 with sad faces in both places.
Yeah, 10 out of 10. I gotta go to my private Twitter account now.
Wow.
Are you walking around right now?
Yeah.
In the weird HUD thing?
No. I wish.
Okay. Okay.
I don't think the game needs to break the fourth wall that bad. Although that would be like the coolest thing in the world, to just walk around inside of a heads-up display.
Hell yeah. Games that break the fourth wall are fun. Could write a lot about that.
It has to be smart. It can't be like Retro City Rampage kind of breaking the fourth wall, where you literally just go, hey, here's the Frosty guy from Mortal Kombat. You remember Mortal Kombat?
Really?
Mortal Kombat wasn't a Nintendo game, but it did have that funny thing, so I'm putting it in this Nintendo game.
Yeah, that's weird.
Hey guys, any good memes lately? Hey, is there a video game here? I'm sure there's a video game here. I need to crawl through all the memes first.
Hold up. I'm pulling back out the cannon. I don't like Shots Fired anymore. Shots Fired is too small for me. I think inflation. Inflation is hit. I need cannons. I need goddamn cannons when I say controversial shit.
What's it called? I guess I have my reservations about fourth walling it. I don't find a game constantly yelling at me that it's a game to be very impulsive. I just
It's all about where you put it, and most people that make those kinds of games have absolutely no idea where they're putting it.
no, it's like, do you know that this is all controlled by someone? Like, yes, of course I do. Like, this isn't some revelatory thing to me. You know what I mean? So I'm not like it's not an impressive feat to me, and you can tell that games are very impressed with themselves when they do it. And I just like it just like that's not the most interesting. Like when I play the Stanley Parable, like that's not the most interesting thing to me. Everyone's really idea with this idea of the meta, and I'm like, no, this is not. This is not the thing that I want to.
I think that if you're gonna do meta, it has to be very specific, and it has to like you can't like just do it. I think it has to be a thing where it has to be like very, very deeply into. I'm gonna talk about Metal Gear Solid 2 real quick.
Yeah,
because Metal Gear Solid 2 is literally all about that.
Metal Gear game.
But it's just gonna happen in every single stream that happens. I'm sorry, but like Metal Gear Solid 2, like that even like they have like all the jokes about, oh, it's just a game and it's just a simulation, but like that's the entire point. It's a simulation, and you're like breaking out of it.
It works for Metal Gear Solid 2 because Metal Gear Solid 2 is making a point, and it works for Stanley Parable because Stanley Parable is making a point, and it works for Metal Gear Solid 4 also because Metal Gear Solid 4 is making a point. Whereas, like, if you take a game like, I'm trying to think of a game I've played that breaks the fourth wall and does it poorly. You see, here's the problem with me talking about games. I only play good games. I have...
That's debatable.
I have
I
fucking
a lot of
games.
that.
So, what?
I play a lot of that. I played some bad games.
I like to play games that are varying in quality because I have the notion that you can learn a lot of really useful information about game design from a bad game.
Well, the other thing is, like, I had this, like, bad idea in my head for a while, just like, oh, I'm not going to play any of the silly campy games or whatever, and then, like, one day I literally was just like, I was having a bad day, and I bought Metal Gear Rising, which I had kind of, like, previously informally decided to avoid because I thought it would be, like, not very Metal Gear-ish. And then I won while I was surprised, like, it's just like, I was kind of like, alright, I'm gonna play
is this before or after you were converted to the Church of Platinum Games? Because if it was after, I'm sorry, you're gonna have to reinstate right now. If you see the logo Platinum Games and you don't go, this is gonna be good, you're out. I'm sorry. You have to re-register.
I'm talking about a specific kind of goodness. Like, Platinum games are always, like, well-designed and fun to play.
Oh yeah, I know what you mean. I'm just joking anyways.
Yeah, but I mean, yeah, this was like, I mean, I was surprised. Yeah, I was surprised at how well the game was written, et cetera, and that sort of thing. But the thing is, like, literally, there will be times where I try and play a bad game, and then I realize, wait a minute, this is actually a good game.
Oh yeah, this game is actually not that bad.
Well, that's the thing is, like, I play, it's like there's so many things where it's just, there are so many things I try and engage with, and I kind of like try and engage with them with the thing of. With the, like, okay, this is campy, but I'm engaging with the campy thing, and that's okay, and then I go, wait a minute, but it's good.
Yeah.
You know, like that.
Like, there's this idea that because it's campy, it's inherently bad.
Well, that's the thing. Well, I mean, it's also, like, I mean, this is something that you run into a lot as a heavy metal fan.
Yeah.
It's just, like, it's just kind of like, oh, this is going to be campy and dumb, and then you actually, like, start reading lyrics, and you start noticing things about musical structure, and you go, wait a minute, this is really good. Like, at first it's just, like, you know, like, when I started listening to In Flames, I was just like, okay, this band is just like a good collection of riffs. And then I started, like, reading lyrics and, like, noticing how well
awesome kill incoming. I didn't do it on purpose, but it worked out for me.
You know, it just, you know, started paying attention, and I'm like, wait a minute, this is really good. I'm getting to this point where, like, camp is, that's really awesome. getting to this point where like camp is like not at all like it's not a word I even like to use in terms of looking at things because it's
Me
just
neither.
like it's just it feels so reductive. It is reductive. If we're calling MGR camp, we're being reductive. If we're calling any of the Metal Gear games camp, we're being reductive. And that sort of thing. Even though they have campy qualities to them, I think that's the other thing is that really. And this is the entire problem with the bad word that I'm not going to say, but this is like the thing about certain words when used to describe certain kinds of art is that a lot of words have really like time limits on them.
Yeah.
Is that you inevitably run into a thing where like for example like In Flames and At the Gates and Dark Tranquillity are three of the classic bands of what's called melodic death metal. But then when you listen to the best albums by those bands, you realize that what they're playing has nothing to do with death metal. Like in terms of what makes death metal musically and lyrically unique, these bands are doing something completely different. They're doing something that like if we were to make a new game, or rather if we were to make a new name for it, it would have something that didn't mention death metal at all. It would be like Swedish abstract metal or something like that.
That's usually where you get like the stuff that's like post metal and like sludge metal and stuff because like it's different. It's like it's got those kinds of roots, but it's so different to the point where it's like you can tell it's not the same. And I feel like this is where a lot of genre arguments come from. Where it comes to like stuff where like people get like really shitty about the genre labeling of certain bands because like they have so many different elements that combine into like this unique sounding thing, but people are still trying to group it together, which is why you have the arguments of bands like Death Heaven would probably be like the best example, where like black metal fans fucking hate them even though like they're explicitly not black metal, they're just inspired from black metal. And a lot of people don't understand that you can be inspired by a thing and not rip it off. Like amazing, right?
Right.
And like when it comes to discussing metal with other metalheads, that's like one of the biggest things. That's always like, oh, this is just posing or trying to be this certain type of metal when it's not. And it's like most of the time bands are aware of that and they're trying like specifically not to be what you're trying to expect them to be.
I'm trying to imagine what it's like to be a metalhead and talk to other metalheads about metal.
It's insufferable.
Like, what?
Dude,
I remember back before I got into. Oh shit! Well, I'm dead.
What is that experience?
Dude, metalheads hate talking to other metalheads.
Yeah.
It's a community of like people who might be nice people on their own, but when they interact with each other, and I'm completely guilty of this, we're all assholes.
Yeah, I am too, honestly. Like, anytime I talk about metal on my Twitter account, I'm just like, I'm gonna lose followers now, because, like, who gives a shit?
I mean, and granted, it's because there's, you always end up falling into some kind of camp or whatever, and different camp, obviously.
Yeah.
But, I don't even want to talk about that right now. I'm trying to be in a good mood.
It's just an interesting thing.
I hate to dampen on your mood, but I'm getting ready to bounce because my girlfriend's almost here, so we're gonna hang out for a little bit and not play video games. Actually, we're gonna play hella video games, but not Vanquish.
Okay.
That's cool. I might go back to streaming something else.
Yeah, you can. I'm sure you can just take over from here. I can just tell everybody to go to your channel.
I think, someone said, the chat's a little behind, so it's just, who's going to bring up MGS2.
Yeah.
And I think my main suffering as a human being is that I'm not able to stream MGS2, because I think I would do it 24 hours a day.
Yeah, I think now that I can actually stream again, there are gonna be certain games so it's just like, all right, I gotta play this game, so I'm gonna stream it now. Like Vanquish, I feel like Vanquish is gonna be one of those games for sure that I'm just gonna stream it a lot, and I'm gonna do an LP, and it's just gonna be a game that I obsess about for like 5 months.
I do wish that I could stream Sonic Adventure, because it's actually good.
Do you not
I'll
have
say
the
that.
PC version?
No, I have the PS3 version. I bought on my PS3 because I wanted to play on my TV, so
Okay.
that's why. Yep.
Oh shit, do I have admin privileges on your account?
Yeah, you and Zolani are both admins in the chat.
Sweet.
Oh, nice.
I like having the sword. That's all I care about with admin shit. I just want the fucking sword.
It just-
I want to see myself with the sword.
It just made sense. It just made sense to me since you guys are like the most common people in the chat anyways. I'm probably also gonna end up modding Bloody Honey when he's around next time.
Right.
But yeah, I'm gonna shut down the stream for now. So if you're getting ready to set up another stream, folks, go to that one instead.
All right.
Yep.
We went to my stream. Now we're going back to my stream.
We went to the party and then we left the party and now we're going back to the party after getting like really coked up on methamphetamines for 2 hours.
Yes.
Oh my god. I'm gonna get my controller out on my PS3 and I'll set something else up.
Okay. Yeah, so I'm clocking out of this, so have a good one, everybody.
Totally. See ya.